Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I think we're fine now with all the technical things. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Is it all good? Yeah. Okay, great. So, welcome to this water element themed yin yoga practice. I'm Jenna. If you're new to me, very thankful that you're practicing here with me here today. So, for this practice, you'll probably need a blanket, maybe a block. A book will do as well, something roughly the same size. Get comfortable, and we will get started in Shavasana. So, go ahead and go lay down. Make yourself comfortable. Eyes closed. Claim your space and come into stillness. Let's just take a few clearing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So through your nose, take a full breath in. Pause at the top. Can you become a little bit heavier? Open the mouth and let it go. Once more, deep breath in. Pause. Hold. And exhale, let it go. Can you sink a little bit deeper onto the floor? Now seal the lips and right away begin to deepen the breath, breathing in and out through the nose. Pay attention to where the breath might get stuck. Can you allow it to flow first into the belly, then into the rib cage, then into the chest, and the same way out. Chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Take a moment to set your practice and intention. It can be anything. Take one more deep breath with your intention, really sealing it into your being, solidifying the connection to the breath. Next, inhale. You can keep your eyes closed. Hug the knees into the chest. Feel free to rock a little bit from side to side. Today we'll give some extra love to the spine, moving it in all different directions. So maybe first just pay attention to how your back and your spine feels right now. Come into stillness. Plant your feet onto the floor, setting up for bridge pose. Since this is a yin practice, we'll keep it really, really soft. Arms alongside the body, feet and knees hip width apart. Next, inhale, lift your hips and reach your arms up and behind your head. As you exhale, lower the hips and lower the arms. Next, inhale, hug the knees into the chest, give them a good squeeze. Exhale, set the feet down, arms alongside the body. So this combo we'll do 2 more times. Inhale, lift the hips, peel the arms off of the floor, lift them behind the head. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, knees to chest, let the spine round. Exhale, set the feet down, arms alongside the body. Once more, inhale, lift the hips. Arms next to the head. Exhale, lower, slowly lower down. Inhale, hug the knees into the chest. And this time, pause here. Bring your nose towards the knees. You can grab behind the thighs. Make yourself into a tiny little ball and start to rock on the whole length of your spine. Give the spine a good massage. Keep the chin tucked into the chest. And eventually you gain enough momentum to come up seated. Great. Let's come lay down on the belly. So find your way onto your belly and have your props at the top of the mat. So you'll lay your chest towards the top of the mat. And first we'll come into Sphinx Pose. Elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms on the floor. Roll your shoulders back. If this feels uncomfortable on the lower back especially, separate your feet wider. You can experiment with the hands a little bit. Would you like the hands facing forward or grab opposite elbows? Just make sure that your elbows are shoulder width apart. They can be a little bit wider, but not too wide, because then you're going to collapse in between the shoulders, and that causes a lot of strain for the shoulder neck area. We're just going to keep looking forward past the top of the mat. Take a deep breath into the lower back. Exhale, can you let your hips sink? Deep breath into the lower back. Exhale, sinking. Reconnect to that flowy breath that you established in the beginning of the practice. Soften your forehead. Soften the space between your eyebrows. Soften your jaw. Notice even how the tongue is resting in the mouth. Can you make a little bit more space for the tongue? Separate the back teeth a little bit. Let it be completely relaxed. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Notice how the belly moves against the floor as you breathe. Now, if your hands were forward, just turn your right forearm parallel to the top of the mat. If you grabbed opposite elbows, you already have the right forearm like so. So the right fingertips point over to the left. Roll onto the right side of your body. Right side of your body. And you can choose how you want to have the legs. So they can be straight and together. Maybe they're bent. Maybe you'd like to bend the top leg and plant the foot in front of the bottom leg, just kind of like you're hanging on the beach. Now, really think of sinking the right side of your body closer towards the floor. You can allow the right shoulder shrug up to the right ear. So truly just hanging here. And you'll notice the sensation on the right side of the body. Maybe also in the right shoulder. If you don't feel a lot, it is not the biggest of stretch. You can always place a block underneath the right forearm. So you elevate the right hand a little bit more. But I just want you to understand that in Yin Yoga, we don't always seek and search for the biggest of stretches. We also want to tune into the little subtle sensations to understand the flow of energy in the body. You can look wherever it feels comfortable for your neck. Take a deep breath into the right side of the body, let it expand. Full breath out. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Keep breathing. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Now, if your left leg was not bent, bend it and place the sole of the left foot in front the right leg. We're gonna just sit down so that we face the back of the mat and bring the sole of the left foot on the inside of the right leg. Half butterfly. So you're facing the back of the mat, right leg is straight, left leg is bent. Both of the sitting bones equally on the floor. Maybe you sit on a blanket, and if that left knee is lifted off of the floor, put something underneath it, maybe a blanket, pillow, or a block. Also, if your hamstrings are feeling sticky, you can soften through the right knee, maybe place a block underneath the knee to put a generous bend in it. I want you to really feel supported here. Take a deep breath in at the top. Can you soften your shoulders down? Exhale, tuck the chin in, let the head hang heavy, and begin to fold down over the right leg. Maybe you stay a little bit higher up. If you feel like you have more space, walk yourself further. Close the eyes. Come into stillness. Reconnect with the breath. With the eyes closed, see where that darkness wants to take you. What sensations do you notice in the body? What kind of thoughts do you notice in the mind? Just becoming curious. Make sure the legs are completely relaxed. The upper body is heavy. Head is hanging down. Can you soften the shoulders away from the ears, free up the neck? Give yourself 3 more deep breaths here. Come out very slowly. Keep the chin close to the chest. Allow the spine to be round. Slowly roll up to seated. You can support yourself with your hands. Let the spine stack up again. When the head reaches the top, take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Let the shoulders drop down. And now take that left leg. You're gonna have to pay close attention to what I say because you're probably with your back towards me. So take that left leg and bring it over on top of the right one. So kind of like you want to come into shoelace or cow face if you're familiar with those. Left knee is on top of the right knee. Plant your right foot onto the floor, bend the right knee, and lay down on the back. Open the arms wide into a T shape, palms face up. Now you probably want to have some props ready on the right hand side of your mat. Lift your hips a little bit, shift them over to the left, and let the legs fall over to the right. This is quite a deep twist, so you might need more props underneath the legs. That's totally fine, especially if you notice that the left shoulder doesn't reach the floor or begins to peel off of the floor. That's a sign for you to place more support underneath the legs. Close the eyes. Settle into stillness. Can you soften the inner thighs? Notice if you're squeezing the legs together. Could you relax the legs? See if with each breath in, you could create more space on the left side of your body. In that space between your left armpit and your left hip. As you exhale, can you soften, become a little bit heavier? Notice how it feels to lay here in complete stillness. Does it feel good to you, or is it making you uncomfortable? Enjoy 3 more deep breaths here. Now you want to come out very slowly from this twist since it is a deep twist. Begin to roll the spine onto the floor. Keep the legs wrapped. And when your lower back is in contact with the ground, then shift your hips back to center. And then you can unwrap the legs. If you'd like, you can hug the knees into the chest. We're going to rest for a moment in Shavasana. Extend the legs, open the arms. Notice how the body feels. Notice the sensations in the body. Solidify the connection with the breath again. Deep breaths in. Complete breath out. Deep breath in, starting with the belly. Full breath out, let the belly drop down. Hug the knees into the chest. Again, make yourself into a tiny little ball. You can grab behind the thighs, bring your chin to the chest, and start to rock on the whole length of the spine. Take at least 5 rocks. Give the spine a good massage. And when you've created enough momentum, come up to seated. And come lay down on your belly again. And this time your head will be towards the back of your mat. Doesn't really matter, but like you saw in the sequence, we kind of twist and turn. So you want to end up with your head at the front in the end. Let's start with Sphinx again. Forearms on the mat, elbows underneath the shoulders. If you still feel discomfort in your lower back, separate your feet wider, maybe even wider than the mat. If you'd like, you can grab opposite elbows and just gazing past the top of the mat. Take a moment to roll the shoulders back. Close the eyes. Deep breath into the lower back. Exhale, let the hips hang. Soften your buttocks. Deep breath into the lower back. Exhale, can you let the pelvis just melt onto the floor? Keep breathing. Slow, deep breaths. And let this feel really, really good. Notice what the face is doing. Soften the forehead. Drop the eyebrows. Pay attention to the mouth, the jaw, how the tongue is resting inside the mouth. Could you soften it all? Let's take 3 more breaths here. Feel the belly move against the floor as you breathe. Make sure your left forearm is parallel to the short side of the mat. Left fingertips point over to the right, even though I'm sure you're confused with left or right by now, but to your right hand side at this moment. Roll onto the left side of your body. See what you want to do with the legs. This side might feel a lot different. Maybe it's more tense, maybe it's more open. Legs can be together, they can be straight or bent. Maybe you bend the top leg, plant the foot onto the floor in front of you. You can just rest your right arm where it feels comfortable. If you'd like more sensation on the left side of the body, you can place your left forearm on a block, elevating that left arm more. Choose where you want to look. Maybe you just look down. It's usually a lot easier on the neck to relax the head down. Begin to guide the breath into the left side of the body. Can you let it hang really heavily towards the floor? Deep breath into the left side of the body. Exhale, let it just hang. You can allow the left shoulder shrug up to the left ear. And again, if you notice yourself wondering that you're not feeling this a lot, see if you could let go of that thinking pattern and just be here with what is, not always seeking for more or trying to make it happen in some way. We do that enough in the daily life as is. So just close your eyes and feel what's happening in the body right now. It might be small, it might be big, but it's still there and it's worth paying attention to. Three more breaths here. Make sure your right leg is bent now. Plant the right foot in front of the left leg. You'll start to lift yourself up a little bit so that you can just have a seat facing the front of the mat right now. Extend the left leg straight out in front of you. Bring the sole of the right foot on the inside of the left leg. Make sure you're equally grounded on both of the sitting bones, and if you notice that your right knee is lifted higher up off of the floor, put a block or something underneath it so that it can just feel supported and rest on something. Both legs completely relaxed. Doesn't matter if the left toes flop out or in. Usually they flop out. That's totally fine. Take a big breath in at the top. Exhale, tuck the chin in, let the head hang heavy and begin to fold down. And just allowing the fold to happen. Again, not pushing, not forcing, not trying to make it happen, but allowing. See where your body takes you when you just give it the time and breath. Close the eyes. Notice where you could soften right away. Shoulders away from the ears. Legs are completely relaxed. I even like to turn my palms up towards the ceiling to completely surrender. Soften your face, the jaw. Open and close the mouth a couple of times in any way that you'd like if you notice that you're starting to build up tension in the jaw area. Last 3 breaths. See what you'd love to release right now. Let it go with your exhales. Very slowly start to rise back up again. Since we spend so much time in the poses, we want to come out really, really slowly. Head will be the last thing to come up. At the top, take a big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Let the shoulders soften down. And now if you used any props, move them to the side for a moment. Bring that right leg on top of the left one, kind of like you want to come into shoelace or cow face. So right knee is on top of the left one. Bend your left leg, plant the left foot onto the floor, and lay down on your back. Keep the legs wrapped. You'll probably want to put some props ready on your left hand side. Open your arms out like a T shape, palms face up. Shift your hips a little bit to the right. Let the legs fall over to the left. Again, you can use as many props as you need to underneath the legs, especially if you notice that the right shoulder begins to peel off of the floor. Eyes closed. Soften the legs. Notice if you're squeezing the inner thighs together, clenching, can you soften? With each breath in, can you feel the right side of your body expanding, the space between the right armpit and the right hip? Each exhale, the body's softening. Enjoy 3 more deep breaths here. Slowly start to unravel. Roll the spine back onto the floor. When the lower back touches the floor, keep the legs wrapped. Shift your hips to the center, and then you can unwrap the legs. If you'd like, hug the knees into the chest. We'll have one more pose. We're going to do snail, or maybe you're familiar with plow, but snail is just plow yin style, very soft. So we'll bring the feet, the legs up and behind the head. If you're in the first couple of days of your moon cycle, please just lift the legs up towards the ceiling like so. You can even put a block underneath the tailbone to elevate the hips a little bit like so. So that's a variation for the ladies on their moon cycle. Okay, so to come into plow, you probably want to create a little bit of momentum. So keep the legs bent and see if you can bring the legs above the head. Important that you don't look to the left or to the right. You keep looking straight to your belly button. You can have the arms on the back. If it feels okay, release them to the floor behind you, palms face up. And see if you can really allow the hips to come on top of the shoulders. You can either have the toes tucked under or untucked, and it's totally fine if your feet don't touch the floor behind you. You can even do this next to your couch so that your feet will land on the couch a little bit higher up. And bend your knees as much as you need to. Can you breathe a little bit more into the sides of the body and into the back of the body? Let's take 3 more breaths. Slowly start to ease out. Keep the legs bent. Roll the spine onto the floor. Slow it down with your hands. Plant the feet onto the floor. Heel toe the feet as wide as the mat to let the knees fall together. Broken bridge. You can open your arms to the sides. Let the palms face up. Now take a deep breath into the lower back. Exhale, let the whole spine ground. Reconnect with the breath. There's probably a lot of sensation in the spine. That's totally fine. See if you could just close the eyes, tune into the breath, and notice how the sensations start to melt away. Now separate your knees, and as lazy as you can, open the feet and slide the right leg onto the mat, slide the left leg onto the mat. If you now notice sensitivity in the lower back, put blocks or something roughly the same size underneath the knees. Helps to ground the lower back and ease any discomfort there. Make yourself comfortable. Close the eyes. Let's take 2 more clearing breaths together. Through your nose, take a full breath in, fill up all the way to the top, and hold. Open your mouth and let it go. Let the whole body just sink. 1 more deep breath in. Pause. And exhale, let it go. Seal the lips, return to your own natural breath. Notice how you feel. Take a moment to remind yourself why you decided to practice today. And most importantly, thank yourself for showing up. I'm going to leave you here in Shavasana. Take rest, stay for as long as you need to. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.